Good morning, class 9 students. I welcome you all on this online platform provided by Jagrati Classes. We were doing chapter 8 of class 9, that is motion. And in the previous video lessons, we have discussed distance, displacement, speed, velocity and acceleration. I have given you a brief idea about what do you mean by the term acceleration. Then we discussed some examples of acceleration, its formula and the most important SI unit for acceleration. So what was the SI unit for acceleration? The SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. And I told you also to learn all the SI units of different physical quantities which we have discussed and we will be discussing in this chapter. So this is for class 9th, chapter number 8, that is motion. And today's topic would be acceleration. Now acceleration, I have introduced you in the previous video lesson. What do you mean by the term acceleration? Or acceleration can be defined in which way? So we say that acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. And wherever you get the word rate, it means you have to divide it with time. Okay? So acceleration means rate of change of velocity. So rate here means, or if we are writing the formula, then you would get v minus u upon t. This was the formula for acceleration which we already derived. Okay, we saw how this formula we can make if we know the definition of acceleration. A here is the symbol of acceleration. V and u are the symbols of velocities. V is your final velocity and u is your initial velocity. The SI unit of velocity is meter per second. And then t here signifies the time interval, or simply you can say t is the time. And this time is, SI unit for time is second. So for calculations, that is for solving numericals, you need these velocities and time in their SI unit. Then you would get answer for acceleration in SI unit, that is acceleration would come out to be in meter per second square, which is the SI unit of acceleration. Now this we have already discussed. Then we have also discussed, okay, we'll write it down again. Acceleration is a vector quantity. I have told you what do you mean by vector and scalar quantities. That is, all the physical quantities, whatever you have, can be divided into two groups. One would be the scalar and one would be vector quantities. Vector means which has both magnitude as well as direction, whereas scalar quantities do not contain any kind of direction. Okay, they have only magnitude. Because we are involving velocities in the formula of acceleration, and we know velocity is a vector quantity which makes this acceleration to be vector in nature. Now we will be discussing some of the numerical problems related to acceleration, and in this class we will also discuss different graphs. That is, how can you represent the motion of any object using graphs. So we will discuss two kinds of graph. Firstly, we'll see acceleration to clear off your concepts. Okay, some numericals related to acceleration. So we'll see how we solve the questions related to acceleration. One of the question given in your books, that is the in-text question given on page 103 is, it is written, a bus decreases its speed from 80 to 60 km per hour in 5 seconds and you have to find the acceleration of the bus. So this question is from your NCERT textbooks, page number 103. It is given that a bus decreases its speed from 80 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometer per hour, and the time required is 5 seconds. And then it is written, you have to find the acceleration, that is small a I have written. We need to determine acceleration. So very simple, the formula of acceleration says A is change in velocity, that is v minus u upon t. This is the only formula which we are going to use for finding acceleration in this case. So here A, we have to find v. What is v? V means final velocity. So what is the final velocity? The final velocity of this bus is 60 kilometers per hour. So you are given final velocity to be 60 kilometer per hour. And what is u? U means initial velocity. So initial velocity u is 80 kilometers per hour. So these are the given values, but if you see that these are not given in the SI units, that is, these are being provided in kilometers per hour, whereas the unit of velocity is meter per second. And in the previous video lesson, I already told you a trick to convert kilometer per hour into meter per seconds. The trick is you have to multiply the given value with a fraction, that is, if you need to convert 60 kilometer per hour into meter per second, what we'll do, we'll multiply this 60 by a constant fraction, that is 5 upon 18. And on multiplying this, what you'll get is approximately the answer would be 2.2 meter per second. And how did we got this fraction 5 upon 18? For this you can see the previous video. Okay. So this would be an acceleration which we'll get for our first case, that is when we are converting 60 kilometers per hour into meter per second. The next will also be same, that is for conversion of 80 kilometers per hour, we'll multiply this 80 by 5 upon 18. So approximately we'll be getting 16.66 meter per second. This is required. Firstly, you need to convert all the given quantities, all the physical quantities into their respective SI units. Okay. After converting this, and time we have already been given in seconds, so it's no need to convert it. Time will be 5 seconds. We have seen yesterday when we were discussing some of the questions related to speed and velocity. There we got the time to be in hours or in minutes. Then we are required to convert that time either given in hours or in minutes into its SI unit, that is second. And I also told you how to convert the given time into its SI units. So now you have all the values, so you can easily find out the acceleration. Acceleration would be final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. And this would easily give you the answer for acceleration. And the unit of acceleration would be meter per second square. So this is how we solve the questions or the numerical problems related to acceleration. I hope you understood the concept. It is very easy. The only thing, we directly applied this formula which we have for acceleration. What we did just initially is we converted the final velocities and the initial velocities into their SI unit, that is into meter per second. And how we did this? We did this by multiplying with a constant fraction, that is 5 upon 18. So this made all the physical quantities into their SI units. And after converting into the SI units, we easily got the answer for acceleration. So this was a simple question related to acceleration. Now one more question. It is given that a train starting from a railway station, it is the question number 3 of page 103. Okay, so let's write it down. The question is, a train is starting from railway station. So the first line is itself important. Now you have to find acceleration. Similarly you find in the previous question, but here you have to write the given points, that is the initial velocity, the final velocity. Already it is not directly given. You have to judge and say which value is for initial velocity, which value is for final velocity. So a train is starting from the railway station. And then the next part is, and it is moving with a uniform acceleration to attain a speed of 40 km per hour, and then you have to find its acceleration. A train starting from railway station and accelerating uniformly to get the speed 40 km per hour in 10 minutes. And then you have to find the acceleration of this train. For finding the acceleration, you have just one formula which we already used, that is acceleration A is V minus U upon T. That is rate of change of velocity gives you acceleration. Now let's see what is given in the question. In the question, the first line, from the very first line, you can judge a physical quantity. That is, a train is starting from the railway station. The train is at rest at the railway station and now it will start. So from this line, we can say that the initial velocity of the train, which is denoted by the symbol small u, would be 0. How the initial velocity came out to be 0? This is very important. Nowhere in the question you are directly given that initial velocity is 0. But because if you study this first line carefully, it is written that train is starting from the railway station. This line signifies that the train is initially at rest and then now it will start. So at the moment, we know that train is just standing at the railway station, or the train is present at rest, and by this we can conclude that the initial velocity of the train at that moment when it is standing at the station is 0 meters per second. Now next you are given that the train starts and it uniformly gets accelerated to attain the speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So this 40 kilometers per hour would be your final velocity. So the next we'll write final velocity, which is denoted by the symbol small v. This is 40 kilometers per hour. And because again you are not given the value of velocity in SI units, you need to convert this 40 kilometer per hour into the SI unit, that is meter per second. And how to make this conversion? How to convert 40 kilometers per hour into meter per second? Yes, you can try and you can answer that how we would get 40 kilometers per hour into meter per second, which is our SI unit. Okay, we know that for this conversion, we'll multiply 40 by 5 upon 18. And you can do the simple calculations, that is these both terms would be divisible by 2. 2 9s and 2 20s, then you can say 500 by 9, and if you approximately divide it and observe, then it would be 11.11 meter per second approximately. So this would be the conversion for 40 kilometers per hour into meter per second, that is SI unit. And I told you, before solving the question, before you put the values into your formula and solve out the question, you need to convert all the values into SI units. I hope this concept is clear, how to convert the values into SI unit. That is how to convert the value of time. Let's see. Time we are given 10 minutes. You know that the SI unit is second. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. Then 10 minutes would be 10 into 60, which would be 600 seconds. So the conversion of the factor for time and the conversion of velocities from kilometer per hour into meter per second is important. Then next, now we have to find the acceleration. Now finding the acceleration would be very easier. How to find it now? Just you have to put the values. Acceleration is v minus u upon t. V is final velocity. Final velocity is 11.11 meter per second. Then initial is 0 and time is 600. So if you solve out this, you will be getting the answer for acceleration, and the answer for acceleration, it would contain a unit. Please do not forget to write unit after writing the answer. And the unit for acceleration, because we have already converted all the terms into SI unit, so at last for acceleration also you will use the SI unit. And what is the SI unit for acceleration? Correct, the SI unit for acceleration is meter per second square, and the approximate answer which would come would be 0.018 meter per second square. Okay, it would be 0.018 meter per second square. This is the approximate answer for this value. You can easily find, I think. So these were the concepts of acceleration. Now if you see the next question, okay, there is no question now which is given, so we'll be starting, and it is asked, first question given on page number 103 is, when will you say a body is in uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration? So let's discuss this topic too, acceleration, or you can say types of acceleration. So you can categorize the acceleration into two categories. The first one is uniform acceleration, and the next would be non-uniform acceleration. And yes, if you are thinking that these would be similar to the uniform and non-uniform motion, you are definitely correct. These are just similar to what you know about uniform motion. Uniform motion is when an object covers equal distance in equal intervals of time. And non-uniform is either you have unequal intervals of time, or either you have unequal distances covered, or both. Then we say it to be a case of non-uniform motion. So here uniform acceleration would be when an object accelerates uniformly in the given intervals of time. Then you would say it to be uniform acceleration. And non-uniform acceleration would be when this object accelerates non-uniformly in equal intervals of time, then it would be non-uniform acceleration. So these are the two short concepts which we discussed. Now you can even classify acceleration into two more categories. That is, acceleration may be positive, or you may have negative acceleration. So what do you mean by positive and negative acceleration? This negative acceleration, it is also called as deceleration. Okay, it is also known as deceleration, or you can even call it to be retardation. So these are the two names or two terms which are used to signify negative acceleration. So now what do you mean by positive and negative acceleration? Positive acceleration is, you can say when the direction of velocity is positive, then the acceleration what you have is positive acceleration. You can even say that when exact definition would be when change in velocity is positive, then the acceleration comes out to be positive. And when you have a negative change in velocity, I hope now you remember the formula of acceleration. Acceleration is what? If I write in theoretical terms, it is change in velocity divided by time. So the sign of this acceleration would be dependent on the sign of this factor, change in velocity. I am writing, if this change in velocity is positive, that is, if the value of v minus u comes to be positive, then acceleration would also be positive. And when this value v minus u, what is v minus u? V minus u is change in velocity, because in the formula of acceleration you write v minus u by t. So this v minus u signifies change in velocity. And I am saying when change in velocity will be positive, then acceleration will also be positive. Okay? So change in velocity means if the answer for v minus u would be positive, then the acceleration will also be positive. And I am saying when this answer will be positive, when the value of v minus u would give you a positive answer, when v would be greater than u. You can easily see from the formula. Let's suppose v is 10 and u is 8. Then you get 10 minus 8. And 10 minus 8 is plus 2. So you get the answer to be positive when your v, that is final velocity, is greater than u. Okay, this I hope you understood. So we have written in acceleration, that is in positive acceleration, when change in velocity is positive, you call it to be positive acceleration. And change in velocity is positive, I have explained you. This change in velocity should be positive. And when it would be positive, when your final velocity will be greater than initial velocity. But here, in the case of negative acceleration, what we have is, this negative acceleration is known as deceleration or retardation. And when you will get negative acceleration, when your final velocity is smaller or is less than initial velocity. Or you can say when something is decreasing its speed. If the speed of the object which it was moving with initially gets reduced to certain amount, then you say the acceleration to be negative acceleration or retardation. And writing in the equation form, I said here for positive acceleration v should be greater than u. But for negative acceleration, u would be greater than v. If your initial velocity is greater than final velocity. Let's see again in this, that is v minus u. I wrote that u should be greater. Now I am considering u is 20 and v here is 10. So if I try to calculate using the formulas, yes, never skip the unit in these. Okay. So if I write change in velocity is v minus u would give me what? V minus u would give me 20 minus 10 or 10 minus 20. First you have to keep the value of v. So v here is 10. So this gives us 10 minus 20. And as you know that the larger number contains a negative sign, so the answer would also be negative. So minus 10 meter per second would be your change in velocity, and if you divide this value with the given value of time, then you would get acceleration, but this acceleration would be negative because change in velocity is also negative here. I hope you got these concepts, okay? What do you mean by positive and negative acceleration? This also, we have discussed a question here. Okay, this question. In this, a bus decreased its speed from 80 to 60 kilometers per hour. The speed or velocity is decreasing. So here, I didn't found the answer. Why? I want you to solve. But now you will get that there was some error in this question. And what was the error? We wrote that v minus u upon t. What is the final velocity v? It is 60 and this was 80. So these values, if you correctly examined the question and solved it with me, then you would have definitely said that ma'am, this value would be 16.66 meter per second and this would be 22.2 meter per second. And when we'll write these values, okay, there was an error which I made deliberately in this question because I want you to focus and concentrate in the class, and please go through the concepts, and if you have judged the error, then you are focusing definitely very well. So let's see, is this formula now correct according to the values? No. Correct? It is incorrect. Why? Because we have to write first the value of v, that is final velocity. So what is the value of final velocity? Final velocity is 16.66. So this formula would become what? We'll get acceleration equals to final velocity v. So v is 16.66 minus u comes out to be 22.2 upon time. The given time is what? 5 seconds. So now whatever answer you will get, you will get the answer to be negative. And what do you mean by negative? Negatives just signifies that the acceleration is decreasing, or you can say the velocity, rate of change of velocity is decreasing. So this would give you a negative answer, and this negative acceleration is known as retardation. So here we can write that the bus is being deaccelerated, or the bus is undergoing retardation. So these were all the concepts related to topic acceleration, and I hope now it is clear. We have discussed some of the questions of acceleration too. Now we'll be starting graphical representation. That is, how do you solve the questions related to graph? Before going to the questions, we'll see some introduction. Graph, you all know, is made between two axes, that is your x-axis and the vertical y-axis. This one is your horizontal axis, this is your vertical axis. Now you have to study two graphs. The first one would be distance time graph. So distance here we are taking in kilometers, and time we are taking in on x-axis in the units of SI unit second. So distance time graph, when you plot a curve or a graph between distance and time, it is called distance time graph. So for graphical representation, the first kind of graph which we are doing is your distance time. This is the first graph, and then we have to study one more, that is the velocity time graph. So in distance time graph, what do you have? You take distance on the vertical y-axis and time on the horizontal x-axis. And then you can get two kinds of graph. One could be like this, and the next graph. You can get many types of graphs, but these are the two basic categories which we are seeing. These are the two kinds of graph which you generally observe when you plot a curve between distance and time. Remember to write on the axis what you have. You are plotting distance against the time, and please remember to write their units also in whatever units you are measuring or making the graph. So this type of distance time graph is for uniform motion. That is, the object which is undergoing uniform motion shows such type of graph, whereas this curve, this is a kind of straight line graph. So a straight line distance time graph is for the object undergoing uniform motion, whereas a curved type of graph is for the case of non-uniform motion. Now you have to study and conclude why I told you that this is for uniform motion and that graph is for non-uniform motion. Let's find it out. You see, we have different time intervals. Let's suppose you have 4 time intervals, and the distance covered in kilometer is 2, 4, 6 and 8. So if I now make the markings, what I get is, in 1 second, the object covered a distance of 2 kilometers. Then in the next 1 second, that is now the total time is 2. But after the first second, it is the next first, okay? So at the interval of 2, the object covered a distance of 4. And similarly, if I trace these, then I would get this kind of graph. So we see that all the points which we are getting, they lie on a straight line. And hence, because the object is covering 2 kilometers in every 1 second, so we say that the object is moving in a uniform motion. So if you try to plot the graph with the given values, and if you get all the points on a straight line, then you say that this graph is for uniform motion. Whereas a curved graph, it could be in any form. This distance time graph may be curved in any form. All these curves show non-uniform motion because here the object is not covering equal distance in equal intervals of time, as you can see from the graph itself. Okay, this has no significance because the graph is just now going steeper above. So we say that in the first second, the object covered 2 kilometer distance, but in the next second, okay, till here if we assume it to be somewhat straight, but here you would get that in the next second the object covered a huge distance that was not 2 kilometer. The difference between 2 and 4 and 4 and 7, between 2-4 interval and this 4 and 7th interval is not same, and hence we get that these are the two kinds of graph, distance time graph. Now you have to study the second one, which is velocity time graph. Velocity time graph is made between what? You would plot velocity on the y-axis and time on your x-axis. Time would be measured in seconds. Velocity, if you measure it in meter per second, good. If you can also measure it in kilometers per hour. So now for velocity time graph, if you get a straight line, it means the object is moving with uniform velocity. Okay, constant, not constant velocity. You say object is moving under uniform velocity. These two terms are quite confusing. The first is uniform and the next term is constant. Constant means you have a fixed value. The value is fixed. Uniform means which is increasing at a particular rate. So this is the difference between two confusing terms, uniform and constant, which we order out to be a same quantity or a same term. No. Constant means fixed value. If I say I have object is moving with a constant velocity, then how you will draw? If you have to draw a graph of constant velocity, constant means the velocity has a fixed value. The value of velocity is not changing with time. So for drawing this graph, you have velocity on y-axis and then time on x-axis. Signify their units. Constant means, let's suppose I take the value of velocity to be 5. Then in the first second also, then we say that when the object started, it started to move with the velocity of 5. When we saw the object at time 0, the object was moving with the velocity of 5 meter per second. And afterwards also, when we saw this object, the journey of this object with time, we got that the object is still moving with the same value of velocity, that is 5 meter per second. And hence the graph which you would obtain would be a straight line. So this kind of straight line, this straight line you can see is parallel to the time axis. I can say that this straight line is parallel to your time axis, okay? Because what are parallel lines? Those lines which do not meet each other. So if I extend this straight line and the line of time, they would never meet each other, so they are called to be parallel. So this graph is a straight line parallel to time axis, and such kind of graph shows you that the object is moving with fixed velocity, which is called constant velocity. That is, velocity of object is not changing. It has a fixed value of 5 meter per second with respect to time. So these are the different graphs for uniform velocity and constant velocity. And this one is very important. Questions are also being asked that if an object is, that if the graph is given where the graph is a straight line parallel to time axis and the graph is between velocity and time. So the object is moving with uniform velocity, non-uniform velocity, or what? Or the object is at rest. So you will say that the object is moving with constant velocity. Now you can also make a similar graph for non-uniform velocity and velocity time graph for non-uniform motion comes out to be any kind of curve. As we discussed, you can get this kind of graph or you can get this. Any type of curve if you get, then you are dealing with non-uniform motion. Remember this. All these are non-uniform motion when the object is covering unequal or the object is moving with non-uniform velocity in equal intervals of time. Now you should remember 2 points, that from the graph we can calculate 2 things. The first one would be area of graph and the next is slope of graph. Area of graph means y-axis into x-axis, whereas slope means y divided by x. For example, you are given a graph and this is between distance and time. Okay, you have a distance time straight line graph, and if you are required to find the area of the graph, how you would find it? Area would be y into x. Y is distance and x is time. So if you find the area of this graph, you would get distance into time. And if you look at the formula of speed, speed is distance upon time. So area would give you distance into time. But this slope, if you find the slope, then y is distance, x is time. Then you would get the slope to be distance upon time. And if you know, remember the formula of speed, you can tell that distance upon time is equal to speed. So if you find the slope of this graph, then you will get the value of distance upon time, which is equal to the speed. So if you are given this kind of graph and you are asked to find the speed, then you can say that how to find the speed? Just divide the value of distance with the value of time, so you will get speed here. Similarly, if you have a velocity time graph with you, we'll be doing many such questions, okay, graphical questions. If you have a graph between velocity and time, so what would be the area of this graph? Area would be velocity into time. So if I find the area of this graph, I would get velocity multiplied by time. And you know the formula of velocity is displacement upon time. So if I move the time to the left hand side of the equation, I would get velocity into time, which is equal to displacement. So remember, if you find the area of velocity time graph, area is y coordinate into x coordinate, that is velocity into time, then velocity into time gives you the value of displacement actually. So if you find the area of velocity time graph, you can get the values of displacement. And if you are required to find the slope, then the slope would be y upon x, which is velocity upon time. So the slope would be velocity upon time. Okay, so these were the introduction, how you study a graph and how to calculate area and slope from a graph. Now we'll be dealing some of the calculation, that how to calculate the slope, or if you have this kind of graph, then how to calculate this area. We'll be discussing these points, calculation of slope and area, and then we'll be moving to our questions. These are some of the graphical questions from your NCERT, the exercise question number 8. So we'll be dealing with these kind of questions, and then we'll be completing this and moving on to our next topic, that is graphical representation of equations of motion. It is again a very interesting topic, a long derivation, but I'll try that you understand all the steps here itself and you learn them very easily. So thank you for joining today's class. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.